When you heard that you guys were paired together, did you work with each other prior, or?
I was relieved because I knew I wasn't going to have to talk a lot. I was very relieved.
You. we had met each other a couple years back, but we also worked. He came and guest starred on my show, and so we had worked together then, like a couple years. Like
but I had known
ago.
her before because she was. I mean, I always thought she was really attractive, and she's always played very sexy roles or did sexy photo shoots and stuff. And I'd seen her out at the parties. She puts herself together really well. So.
Thanks,
the fact
John.
that I was playing her love interest was and I met her on Earl, but My Name Is Earl, which is her big hit TV show that's continues to be great, and I had gotten to see her work, and I really dug her process because she was very, very professional, and sometimes when people are funny, playing characters that are a little cartoony, you don't know if they're in on it or not. Sometimes you have people who are just very funny because they're written well for, but she had a good sense and awareness of that character that she was playing. That was a bit of a broader interpretation of what her screen persona had been in other projects. So I was very happy to see that she was very aware of it and was a pro and in on the joke. And then
Thanks, John.
And then later on this one, I knew that she was going to have to be really aggressive, and I knew from working with her that she wasn't going to. A lot of times you deal with people who are sensitive about the line between their character and who they are, and if you're making fun of their character, it's hard not to personalize it. But early on, we were like, let's just go at it and agree
Yeah,
if
we
the
both
gloves
knew
could
that
come
we
off.
weren't going to take it seriously. Like when they said cut, we'd laugh at that and I'd be like, that was a good one. And he'd say the same thing to me. It wasn't like something that you would personalize in any
Sometimes
way, shape, or
sometimes
form.
it happens,
But
though.
it does happen. Sometimes you'll be in a scene and you'll throw a line, some improv line out there and where you're making fun of the other character or belittling them in some way. And when they cut, the person that you just were in the scene with will turn and get really upset.
They feel
or
very
offended.
they feel very protective of their character. I've just worked, especially when you're dealing with people doing it like as lovers.
Yeah.
People tend to put so much themselves in the character and fall in love with their character to play it well. That's their process. Every actor's different.
They personally feel offended.
They do, and they're like, you hurt my, like they don't say it like this, but you hurt my character, and I care about my character. And so to me, I've never been that way.
Comedy it's supposed to be funny. Whatever you can pull out of your hat to go.
To make it funny.
Yeah, to make it funny. I mean, go for it.
Well, you're a big sport on your show. I mean, her character just goes through, but what I love about your character, both in this and in that, is, and where they're similar, is they never give up. There's a lot of fight in them, and I think there's a lot of fight in Jamie as a real person too, just from achieving what she has and coming from where she's come from and all the challenges she's faced. And I think people like that. I think people like to watch characters that are tenacious and don't give up and are fighters. And I think my character in this also doesn't really. There's not a lot of self-questioning going on, and so much of what the movie is about is Paul Rudd is constantly questioning themselves. And I think we all have that aspect, and certainly in other movies, like in Swingers, I've played that too. So I think we have both sides of it, but for this, I was able to turn that off. And Paul totally plays it up, and I think that's why we don't get along very well on the show.
Yeah, they're two completely opposite ends of the spectrum, these two guys.
I have to ask you then, was it refreshing to kind of be that type of person all the time on set and then kind of...
I wasn't that way on set, so I wasn't that way on set as a person, but in the movie I definitely was. It's great to, I'm not a character actor in the sense that I could transform myself into the guy from Gangs of New York, like Daniel Day-Lewis, and only call me my character's name. But the way I do character work is I find the aspect of the character that's similar to me that I could relate to.
You personalize it.
I personalize it and then just turn off everything else that isn't that and focus on that one aspect of myself. And so it's great. And so I would hammer that away. And what was interesting is to see if I played the part of myself that's sort of the most unlikable, but a very honest part of myself. And she did the same thing. The surprise for me is we tried to do everything we could to be unlikable and relentless, and time again, the feedback we keep getting is audiences love your characters. Audiences think you're so funny.
Everybody keeps saying that the relationship that Barry and Denise have in the film is the most relatable. They're the most relatable, you know, characters, or that they're the most realistic relationship.
It was just very strange.
It was, because we just tried to make it as terrible as possible,
Yeah.
the relationship, as unhealthy as possible, even though we kept the heart in the two characters, where at the end of the day they would kiss and make up and still love each other, and they're trying to have a child and whatever. They're the couple that you, when you find out they're coming to dinner with you, you're like, because you have to sit through the arguing and the uncomfortable feeling that they create when they come around.
Because I got that, but I just was wondering, you know, I know you're casting for another film.
Yeah, for Iron Man, yeah.
You know, you've worked with Jaime. Is there any part for her to kind of be?
No.
Have you talked to? Is there?
No,
She's
there's not.
great. She's great. No, there's not anything in
not.
this one. But I am. If you look at, you know, honestly, all kidding aside, part of why I like doing this and acting is because I really learn and meet. It's very hard to meet people and see their process and how they work. And everybody, if you look at all my movies, even starting with Swingers, I pulled together people from, I knew Ron Livingston from Chicago, Vince I knew from Rudy, Alex Desire from PCU. And so I often will, and then in Made, Phase on Love from The Replacements, I meet people and they're in my mind, and as I create projects, I always look to the people that I've worked with. They, not consciously, it just emerges.
So you mean you're going to write a film for me now?
I'm sure. I don't know if I'll write a film for you.
Why not?
Well, maybe
Oh,
I
because
should.
you're so big now, because you're Mr. Iron Man,
I
and
will
I'm
write.
so
What
busy.
superhero do you want? You want to be Wonder Woman?
I want to be Wonder Woman. Or, you know what, make one up for me, because there's really no one like me. I really should just play a new character.
Hell's Bell.
I'm down.
Would that be a good one for you?
I'm
like
down.
a Southern Belle? Hell's Bell?
Hell's Bell, I'm down.
With an E at the end?
Why's she got to be Southern?
I don't know why. I don't know. It just came out flew out of nowhere.
I don't know why you look at me and think of Southern. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know
to me.
either. I'm in New York. I also like the New York Southern mix of our couple.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting
Although I don't really
mix.
think I used much of a Southern accent in the film.
You didn't?
No, that's cool.
Really? That was your neutral mid-Atlantic.
That was my neutral.
I gotta
That
see.
was my-
I gotta see you do Othello sometime.
Yeah, pretty brilliant. Pretty good.
You have some range.
I do.
Dysfunctional. I'm just kidding.
That's why we get along. It's great. See, neither one of us got
It's great.
offended.
Because somebody's gonna be watching this in Taiwan and be like, "What the? What's going
What is
on
going
here?"
on?
We're just
right now.
fighting the whole time. No, I'm joking.
No, but see, we do it. It's fun. It's not meant. Neither one of us get offended. It's on purpose.
This is gold.
Yeah.
This is gold.
This is Oscar
This is gonna make people
material.
want to go to the movie.
This is
I
Oscar
see this.
material right
see
here.
this shit.
You wait.
Great.